Hi, I'm Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Spencer Valdez.
You're listening to Comic Reflections.
Absolutely.
All right, so today, before we get rolling, we are going to talk about Frank Miller's Batman: The Dark Knight Returns.
Awesome.
But before I do we start there, I want to clarify something. When we were wrapping up our talk on Crisis, remember that scene, Spencer, where we saw all the mystic characters together, and there was a guy with the turban. I could not remember his name. The yellow turban, the cape, I call him like Dr. Goofball or something.
Yeah.
That's and I remember as soon as I remembered it, it all came back to me. That's Sargon the Sorcerer.
Okay.
I don't remember all what his deal is about, but I do remember during Alan Moore's run on Swamp Thing, a very important or a notable storyline where John Constantine got together some of these mystic characters and got Sargon was his main guy, and Zatanna and Zatara, and they had some kind of seance-y thing or something to repel some demon or some crap. But yeah, that was my introduction to Sargon, and then other than Crisis. Oh yeah. So now I remember that's what that guy's about.
All right. Before we really dive into the bat, we have a few business things to take care of. Nick, you started the YouTube channel.
Well, yes.
Talk about that
So, well, we're on YouTube now. We've got all these podcasts on YouTube, and the plan is within 12 hours from each episode recording, it should be up on YouTube for streamage. Spencer, want to remind folks that where we can email us?
Yeah. You can reach us an email, or you can leave comments on our new channel.
Yes.
At comic.reflections@gmail.com, and one of us will either answer you through email, or if it's interesting enough, we might bring it up here on the cast.
Yes, indeed.
We will probably have a Twitter account, so you can follow us there.
Yes, and then you'll know as soon as a new podcast is up for streaming. Still got that RSS feed and blog in the works. We'll see what we come up with that. So
cool. Yeah, so let's dive into this Batman. We started talking about it last week.
Oh yes.
In our third part of our Crisis.
Oh yeah, and then we're just like, hey, let's talk about the Bat. We got some time.
We talked about the art a little bit, and I mean, I just want to clarify that although I'm not the biggest fan of the art, the storyline holds everything together for me. It is a great story.
Yeah. And from really, I mean, it is the Frank Miller is top notch here, but the art, I think, it's a strange style.
Yeah.
I'm not as big a fan of his art, but at the same time, if it was somebody else doing the art, this story might not carry that impact.
Definitely.
I mean, like, if you had George Perez or John Byrne, or another hot artist of the '80s doing it, I don't know that it would have translated as well.
Right. I feel like it would have just been another comic that you can find, but it wouldn't be as interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Miller's art, and Jansen and Varley's, ink and colors, they create this really bleak atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's hard to duplicate. I mean, especially if you ever read any of Miller's other things. His art is kind of like, it takes some getting into, because I'm a fan of like real crisp art styles, and this is not. It's kind of like loose but it's okay, and gritty. But it always fits the things that he's writing. They're very grim and dark. I mean, you remember if you've ever read Sin City or 300 or any of his Daredevil or Punisher stuff, it fits right in there. That's totally the right artist. It's a little different with Batman because, okay, it's dark, but a lot of people are used to, the more of that straight, very, I don't know what term I want to use, but, a different style of art than this.
Definitely. And so it is an Elseworlds storyline.
I believe it was the first, but yeah, it's an alternate reality. But it's wonderful how at least the good Elseworlds are like, they take the template of the classic continuity, and then it's like they go over into, an extremely, like, something horrible has happened, or like some event has changed the course of that DC universe history.
Right.
And they do this terrific alternate take on, you know, that changed scenario or
Right.
world, and it's wonderful.
Right.
When Elseworlds works, it works very well.
Right. So in this storyline,
Yeah.
Batman is Bruce Wayne. Obviously, he's in his.
Really?
Oh, sorry.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Bruce Wayne is Batman.
He's in his mid-60s, I think it was.
Mid-50s.
Mid-50s.
He hasn't hit 60 yet, but he's
He's old.
He should have had the game years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, and he was.
He's actually coming out of retirement.
Yeah.
The death of. I think it was the death of one of the Robins kind of put him there.
Would have been Jason Todd. In this
Yes,
continuity, in this story, when Jason died, that was kind of like what kind of spurred on his retirement.
Right.
And this comes out about a year. Dark Knight Returns came out, I think, about a year or later in the year that the Death in the Family storyline took place.
Oh, okay.
Where the Robin was killed by the Joker.
Right. And so he made a promise that he wouldn't do this, but throughout the story, he's having a conversation with himself about how the bat is pulling him back into it, and he can't just stand by while all these terrible things are happening. And so that's kind of the premise of this Elseworlds. The first main bad that we kind of see in this is definitely he's definitely a character that is a classic character. I mean, Harvey Dent.
Oh yeah.
As Two-Face, and I mean we got a glimpse of him in the new movie. He didn't last very long.
Oh, in the Dark Knight. Yeah, that was tight.
Yeah, definitely. And so he's released from Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
I think it's different.
They changed the name to something real goofy in PC.
Yeah.
But that's kind of going along with the story.
Right.
There's this subtext of like media, like everyone, like everything is like totally sucks in the world. But
Right.
the media is like, oh, the frou-frou-y, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's making some kind of political statement, and I'm like, I get it, and yeah, it's kind of stuff.
Right, but I mean,
What I just said made no sense. There was no like point. It's just black.
It kind of sounded like some of the political folks we've been hearing from recently. Not make much sense. Anyways, so we have Harvey Dent, and he's...
You can always tell when I don't come in with notes. Like, so anyway, go ahead.
He's released from Arkham, and his psychotherapist and actual reconstructive surgery guy fixed his face completely.
Yeah.
So he looks like a normal dude again. But he still has that crazy streak in him. And so he's released, and they say, yeah, he's good. He goes on the news and says how he's sorry about killing all the people. And, you know.
Yeah.
But then he gets back into the game immediately. And Batman is brought out of retirement because of it. He realizes that if Harvey Dent's going to be back on the street, the Batman needs to be back on the street.
Well, yeah. And Harvey was his friend.
Yeah, which is kind of tears him apart because he doesn't want to believe that Harvey is willing to just go back to that lifestyle.
Right.
But,
I mean, because you wish the best for people that you care about.
Yeah.
You know.
But he also knows that if there's this darkness still in him, he needs to be out there to counteract it.
Word.
And so Harvey gets tied up again in the scene, and Bat has to come in and take him down.
Do his thing.
Yeah. And so we have this awesome panel of Batman seeing Harvey Dent, who he really is.
Yeah, even though his face is fixed, we see his shadow kind of cover half his face.
Right.
And he comes into the light, and you see it full, and it's fixed. But then you see a blink, and you see the whole face corrupted, and this is how the real Harvey.
Yeah, and
so to speak, that darkness just can't be purged from.
Right. Commissioner Gordon was kind of against his release from the beginning.
Yeah. Jim Gordon knew.
Yeah, and in this story, I don't know much story behind it, but does Commissioner Gordon know that the Bat is Bruce Wayne? Is he one of the ones who knows?
By this point, I think yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because remember they have that scene where he's at Wayne Manor, and then he's like, "Well, you've learned to drink." They're talking. They're like reminiscing.
Yeah. I was just wondering though, outside of the Elseworlds storyline, does Jim Gordon know?
No.
So that's another change in the.
Right. It's taking some saying, okay, Batman retires, and probably because he had worked so closely with Commissioner Gordon for all those years, he's like, look, it's me, Bruce Wayne. Don't tell anybody.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can catch that whispering. Hopefully that showed up.
Definitely. And so, I mean, we have Commissioner Gordon, who's nearing his retirement date.
Because he's turning 74, I think.
Something like that, yeah. And they're saying, all right, that's enough, old man.
Mm-hmm.
Just take your...
I love how, and the gal that replaces him is just like a chick he looks like when Gordon was young.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And same attitudes towards the Bat. So we have these parallels. It comes full circle.
Definitely. And so after Harvey Dent is taken back into custody or whatnot, he that ends the first book in the series.
Yeah, the book 1 of 4, ends like that. You know, Harvey is kind of like captured and kind of gives up, you know, and
and I mean,
it's really kind of a neat moment.
Bruce is definitely saddened by it, but he also realizes that he can't go on the way he is. And so we're introduced to a new villain for the second book, the Mutant and his cronies.
Yeah, the Mutant Gang we'd seen them in book 1. They're kind of around, but this is book 2 is where the Bat's like, nope, I'm gonna take it straight to him. I'm gonna take out the mutant leader, and they're gonna fall along with him.
And we see the Dark Knight become a bit darker in this story. I feel he kind of gives up some of his ethic on how he feels about the capture and death of villains. And he allows himself to kind of take out the mutant leader.
He doesn't kill him.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't. But he
fights dirty.
Yeah, he's
got to, because he knows this guy is like
he's younger.
He's younger and he's got a lot of power. And it's like, oh crap, I got to just, you know.
But he completely just tears him apart.
He's got to. But of course, he goes home and he's yeah.
And in this, we have the arrival of the new Robin.
Yes.
Not really sanctioned by Batman, but
she's inspired by his reappearance,
right?
And shows up, and she kind of drags him home after he defeats the mutant leader and their gang in the dump,
right?
But he almost doesn't make it out. And it's because of her that he lives. So.
Right. Which is, I mean, she's a her.
Yeah.
Which is a bit surprising.
Hey, and cool. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I feel like it just fit. I had no problems with it at all. Not that I'd have problems with female superheroes or anything like that. But
I like Power Girl a lot.
Right. Typically, Robin has been a younger male who's been influenced by
and so they take out the really homoerotic thing, and it's just kind of like it's like a father figure daughter kind of thing.
Yeah,
because her parents are kind of like, she's a good kid and a good egg, but her parents are just kind of like, nah.
Didn't we have a daughter? Is one of the lines in there?
Yeah, they're just like these hippies, and they're just kind of like,
right.
It's very blasé, just like whatever. It's just it's not an abusive home, but there's not.
Right.
You know,
there's not a lot of love there, and if we do know anything about
the parents are not active in her life.
Right. If we know anything about Bat and Robin, Batman does definitely care about those who are in his life.
Yeah.
He definitely cares about.
Yeah.
If anything were to ever happen to Alfred, he would go just ballistic.
Right. But and I love this, when she's, Alfred kind of picks them up, and Batman is drugged.
Right.
He's like, "What's your name?" And she tells him, he's like, "Mine's Bruce." He's like, "Oh, totally,
Yeah.
oops." So he's got no choice really at that point.
Yeah.
And as the book progresses, like he's like, all right, training her and whatever, and she's a little disobedient at first, but then she does exactly what he needs her to.
Yeah.
And he has that moment, like they're like get out of a hot, a real hot spot, like a terrible jam, and he's got her, and she was scared, and they're kind of like going up in the bat plane or the bat copter or whatever. He's a good soldier, he's just like. And I love that father-daughter kind of role they're falling into. It's beautiful.
And I mean, he always threatens to fire her if she disobeys. But every time she does disobey, it ends up turning really good for the
Yes,
Batman.
because he's subtly acknowledging that she has a natural instinct for this.
Yeah.
That she's right.
And
he's telling her, if you disobey, you're fired, because that's what got Jason killed.
Right.
Right. But she's not Jason.
Right.
Wants to do right by him.
There's one panel where she's outright disobeyed him, and it was a perfect scene. And the only thing that shows is him kind of like smiling on the side of his mouth, like, okay, she did a good job.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like the Bat, he's like old and tired, and this youthful element kind of like it almost kind of rejuvenates him.
Yeah, definitely.
This is like the great dynamic for like. Here's our dynamic duo. That's what I would say. Because, I've previously thought like, no, Batman shouldn't have. Batman stories without Robin are better because, it's such a corny, really homoerotic kind of thing, and like, it's like what? But this works in a different vibe because it's like, it's keeping him young.
Yeah. And
keeping him going, and it's like he's training a protege, and there's all these great things. It's like, okay. This is reasons to keep going, because here was a kid who grew up in like all this awfulness of Gotham City and was still like pure-hearted and good, and he's just like, this is what I'm fighting for, almost, Right. It's great. It's great.
So after the beatdown on the mutant leader, we have this rise of Batman followers from the kind of the mix of the old gang. They decide, maybe we have this new leader here.
Yeah, well, the mutant leader and about 60, 80 of his followers were jailed.
Right.
But then the rest, people who were, whatever, they're like, well, they're doing this now.
Yeah.
Because they are followers, but Batman is allowing these guys to take up, and they're kind of going hog wild on crime, and not in the way that Batman would, but it's cleaning up the streets enough to where, like, okay, he can focus on the main things he's dealing with.
And so we have the rise of the vigilante group, the Sons of the Batman.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we didn't really mention this, but at the beginning of the story, people were saying, is he real? Was he a myth? It's been,
it's been 10 years.
No one's really heard from him.
Yeah.
Was he real? Most young kids don't remember anything, so they're like, nah, that's just a story to make us behave,
Like, when they realized that Batman was real, and these kids who were like, people who join gangs, they're looking for something to be like that surrogate family.
Right.
Or, they're followers. They want something to latch on to.
Yeah.
And at this prime moment was like, these guys are latching onto the Bat. So they have all these characteristics from like their just wildness of the mutant gang, and they're doing bad stuff. But Batman is eventually going to take this into and mold these kids into like this crime, the war on crime kind of unit, and keep that going.
Yeah.
He's taking this clay and building something here. So.
And so that's kind of how the second book ends.
Yeah.
In the third book, we have the introduction of Superman into the storyline.
Yeah.
In this.
Yeah, he'd been around and alluded to a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. President Reagan was talking about, like.
our.
Yeah, it's like, well, God's on our side, and if not God, we got something pretty close.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
And,
like, well. Yeah.
So the first frame we actually see Clark Kent.
Yeah.
In his uber menschness, standing.
Yeah, he looks like Fabio with a spit curl instead of
Right.
long
Yeah.
hair. But yeah,
I just thought it was
he's at
very
Wayne Manor. He's on the
ridiculous.
property with Bruce and the horses. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have a discussion about um, hey, this can't go on much longer. You're starting to piss people off.
The president's gonna ask me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to respond. And the bat says, bring it on.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, in this storyline, like, yeah, Superman has become a complete tool. He's just he is the puppet of the government. Like he's only guided by the duty of like the call of America, which is weird though. I mean, Superman always represented like the American myth.
Yeah.
In all the old comics, but he was a protector of the world.
Yeah.
And in this, he's really the protector of America.
Yeah. And it's not the dream really, it's agenda.
Yeah, because hello, he certainly let Gotham City fall into crap.
Right.
So Superman's just doing what the government's telling him.
But after the introduction of Superman, we have the second release of a main character in the Batman stories, the Joker.
Yeah.
Who the psychotherapist of Harvey Dent said, no, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's just a product of his world.
Yeah.
He's killed thousands, but
Yeah.
let's let him have another shot. So the Joker is released, and his first main appearance is on
Letterman.
Yeah, he's named something else, but it's definitely
Letterman. Yeah.
Dr. Ruth, who is not Dr. Ruth, is also there
as a guest. Yeah.
And almost immediately kills Dr. Ruth with a kiss.
Yeah, with like that's poison.
Yeah, and then kills Letterman and the crowd.
I think it's all with Joker venom, right?
Yeah, Joker venom.
Yeah, because they all get that grin, right?
Crazy grin, yeah.
Yeah.
And so obviously everyone saw it coming. Who's reading,
Yeah.
But
because it's the Joker, man.
Yeah. The Batman realizes that it's time. It's time that he puts aside his ethic.
The code, they always said that when you
yeah.
take life, it's like, no, I need to, like, what he said something to the effect, it's like, you know what, I've let you live for too long.
Oh,
this was wrong. It's like, every time I didn't kill you, like, it's like everyone you killed after that, it's my fault. Something to that effect. And Miller writes it, and it's like totally epic. I'm butchering it. But this is part of Batman's inner monologue, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, so Joker just kind of takes off on his new evil crusade.
As soon as he's out, it's business as usual with the Joker. Yeah.
He poisoned I think it's the mayor of Gotham City.
Or like some government official. I'm not sure. Oh, the mayor, yeah.
The mayor's gone wacko on the roof, draped in an American flag, stark naked, and he jumps from the roof and kills himself, which was a product of the Joker.
He had was manipulating a call girl or something like that, an escort that was whatever. And this is all just like Joker's doing this. Why? He's an agent of chaos.
Yeah.
And it's almost like this Joker, this book, if you really go look at the movie The Dark Knight, it's almost like this informs the Ledger.
Oh yeah.
Like that the Christopher Nolan interpretation of the Joker quite a bit.
Yeah. Wow. That's.
I mean, this is the bridge between the classic, the Silver Age, kind of like Joker that we know of, and In and Out of Arkham, okay,
right,
and the very modern interpretation that we got with that movie,
right.
This, I think,
and I mean that's interesting because we have two forms of chaos in this story. Honestly, Batman can be considered a kind of chaotic.
Well, he is an element that is, he is the if you're looking at chaos and order, with the police and government being that of order, and the crime and supervillainy being that these elements of chaos, Batman is the X factor, is the undetermined.
Right.
Like, okay, the police are not going to control him, bad guys are not going to, stop him.
Yeah.
So he is that wild element, that rogue figure.
Throughout.
There's a word I want to use there, like it's gone.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Throughout the this trade, Batman dons these costumes. At one point, he's dressed as an old woman.
And then thwarts this robbery in the mini mart or whatever.
Yeah. Here he's dressed as an old man, which I mean, he's close to anyways.
Yeah.
But he's almost caught by the new commissioner.
What's her name? I forget.
It starts with a Y.
Yeah. It's not that important, but
No, it's not.
But she's basically, again, she's mirroring the relationship between Batman and Gordon when they first kind of met. The like, no, he's a vigilante, we got to bring him in, and then they develop this relationship.
Yeah. So he gets all this information on where the Joker might be, where the governor is going to be, and
Governor
escapes.
Uh-huh.
And throughout this book, it jumps between Batman in Gotham and Superman in
Fighting Soviets, I think.
in Contro Maltese.
Oh, in the Cordo Maltese, yeah.
Yeah. And so Batman just doing the work of the government still.
Superman, you mean.
Superman, yeah. So Batman jumps back to Batman and this madam.
It's Selena Kyle.
Yeah, the
Catwoman.
right.
She's the madam of the escort service. The
Yeah,
Joker is
the
kind of
escort
like
service, that's what I was thinking.
manipulating her girls,
Yeah.
for the purpose of getting these government figures out of the way.
Mhm. And she's tied up, dressed as Wonder Woman. Gets a kiss from Batman. But as they're leaving, the new commissioner and the police catch up to Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And he jumps out of a window, and they claim that he was using a young boy as a shield.
Right.
And it's a narrow escape. Robin almost falls, and we have the good soldier comment by...
Yeah, and that's really beautiful there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I love it because the media, it's like her identity is so safe because people think that it's a little boy like he'd always had.
Right, yeah.
That's great.
We get word that the Joker is out at the county fair.
And he's giving out free cotton candy poisoned with Joker venom.
Right, and so he kills a troop of Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
He then rigs a...
what is it?
A
Ferris
roller coaster.
wheel or roller coaster? Yeah.
Roller coaster with a bomb.
Yeah.
Gonna blow up the roller coaster, kill more people. And then throughout this, we have commentators. Lana Lang is one of them.
Lana Lang, and you may recall her from Superman lore,
Right. Yeah.
I think from way back in Smallville. Yeah.
She supports the Batman in his cause, and on the other side we have people just tearing her apart for
Oh yeah.
allowing this vigilante to do whatever he wants.
For condoning him.
Yeah. And so we have back at the county fair, we have the Joker who's ready to kill Batman as usual.
Yeah.
He's thwarted, but Batman has come to the decision that it's time. It's time that I do him in, and so Robin goes after the bomb that's on the rocket, and not obviously Batman says not to do anything stupid.
Right. What can you do? Yeah.
It's Robin, and so she's fighting with these.
And you
two
can't
characters.
really have a Robin that's not a little headstrong.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not an interesting read. So.
And so there's these two folk, two henchmen of Joker. I don't know if they ever get names.
There's that one big fella, and the other one is actually the robot bomb that that guy had
Right.
built.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's having to, fight those things off, while the Bat enters the House of Mirrors with
The Joker. Oh, yeah.
And I think at one point, does he get shot? Yeah, he does get shot.
Oh,
On
yeah.
the side. He's the Joker is. I mean, he is just so crazy. He's one of the. I feel he's a bit one of the scarier elements in comics. This outright chaotic, will do anything to just be evil.
Because it's not like he's a physical powerhouse, but it's so like he's such a lunatic. That's why he's so dangerous.
Yeah.
And so, and I think people would like to lean on the supervillain. The best supervillains are the ones that are like it's about physical power, but it's like no, it's oftentimes it can be about that mind.
Yeah.
And what like a person, basically a normal body type person is capable of.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting.
So Batman and Joker both escape the House of Mirrors. The Robin is still fighting on the roller coaster. Man, what how physical do you have to be Robin? You're just jumping around on.
You gotta be pretty limber, Yeah.
Batman and Joker take off into the Tunnel of Love, which is just great. With Joker leaving just a wake of dead people behind him.
As he does.
Yeah. Robin is fighting off the big guys, and he gets his hands around her neck.
Oh yeah, this big guy who had built bombs and stuff for the Joker. He's the sole henchman in this story. But yeah.
But as the roller coaster is taking its twists and turns, he loses his head. I think. I mean, it's just.
Oh yeah.
A bloody mess. So I think he's actually lost his head, and this really hits Robin. I don't think she's ever really seen anyone.
Because she realized this isn't a game at that moment.
Right.
Even though they'd been in a couple of tight spots, this is where it hits her.
Right. And so we have Batman back in the Tunnel of Love, and it's time.
Yeah.
And
it is time.
Batman gets stabbed. And the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a bullet wound and a stab wound now. But that's actually not going to stop him.
Nope.
And he's finally done. He kills the Joker.
Well, do you see this though? The Joker is paralyzed in the fight.
Right.
But he's still talking, still whatever, like that. He breaks his own neck.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But now we have the police showing up with the new commissioner.
Yeah.
And so Robin and Batman have to escape somehow. I won't go into how they escape, but they do. It's narrow escapes, but they escape. And in this final, is this the final?
I think we're moving towards the final book.
I'm
not sure where that ended.
You know what? I think it is. Yeah, this is the final book here in the series.
That's right. Book 4. That's right, because it's the escape, and then it's.
Yeah.
I think the escape
like
from the police is this. Yeah, that's the beginning of book 4.
Right. So we have Batman and Robin, and they've, thwarted the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Joker's no longer a threat. But we still have the vigilante group out, and they're taking care of business.
It's true.
And
the mutant gang that are still in jail, well, the nuclear war that strike that we'd been fearful of happens. And the EMP... It hits close enough to Gotham that EMP causes a blackout, and they escape, and it's riot time.
Oh, I think it's a worldwide
Is it
blackout. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Russians are. Oh, maybe it's not a worldwide. All we know is that the Russians still have power.
Okay.
The United States doesn't.
Okay.
It's by
I
far
wonder
the most.
if did Superman like stop it so it was like an upper atmosphere detonation?
He made it go off in some desert,
Right.
thinking that
Okay.
it's just a nuclear bomb.
Whatever.
It goes off here, whatever.
But the EMP hits Gotham.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. That's electromagnetic pulse.
Yes.
In case anyone was wondering.
But this is a major bomb that goes off, and it kind of jacks up Superman for a little while.
Yeah. I mean, he gets over it. But it puts him out of it for a bit.
It's a incredible art, actually. Here.
It's so confusing what happens to Superman. You'll have to read this to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But we have the release of the mutant gang, and Batman and Robin they realize, you know what, the time's come. Batman and Robin, or Batman and Superman, are gonna have
the old Dukaroo.
Yeah, they're gonna have to throw down. And so Batman comes up with a plan. We don't really know much of it, but neither does Robin. And so, because the Batmobile, the Batcopter, the Bat everything isn't gonna work.
Right, they're on horseback.
They're on horseback. And so we have Commissioner Gordon has just retired, but he's still a cop. He still has a duty.
Yeah.
To take care of things. So he's out getting milk for the wife. Comes back, and I mean everything is just chaos. And he gets back to his block, and there's a fire, and so he rallies the people, and they start trying to fight the fire. They start coming together, and
we didn't start the fire.
Exactly.
It was always burning since the world's been turned. Okay.
So we have the commission. He's not the commissioner. We have
Jim Gordon.
Taking up his mantle as just a leader, and then we have the release of the mutants, and we have Batman coming in.
Like you said, the mutants are quickly absorbed into the Sons of the Batman.
Right.
Because it's look,
you can do this, or I can kill you. Not kill you, but I can jack you up.
You can be a part of this solution, or you can be
the problem. Yeah.
Yeah. I had something cooler, but
right.
I couldn't.
Sorry.
No, it wasn't you. I was like, it died. Like so many of my thoughts.
And then we have the couple stories of
people recalling
the night of the riots.
Yeah, and that's interesting stuff.
And I mean, I complained a little bit about the art.
I love this scene where you see Batman on the horse and everyone's following him. That's so rad.
Yeah, it seems like everything got a lot tighter towards the end of the story.
Yeah.
And
this is all building to this.
Yeah, this scene with Batman on the horse and the mutants and Sons of Gotham kind of coming through and just sweeping out the crime and the
chaos. They're because riot time could be real bad,
Right. And so after this, we jump back to Clark Kent. He's talking to the president. The president seems out of it. It is Ronald Reagan. So, but we also have the introduction of Ollie Queen.
Ah, yes. Our Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Former Green Arrow. He's missing an arm.
Yeah.
It's implied here that he lost it to Superman.
Yeah, it is. It actually confused me. I was like, huh.
Because we had read that other Elseworlds from much, much later where Amazo the android had done it.
Yeah.
But remember, in this storyline, it's like the superhero community and villain community, it's like, nope.
Yeah.
It's like there's Batman and there's Superman and it's like it was almost like that period of time just kind of ended.
Yeah.
Which is strange.
And so we have Ollie Queen and Bruce Wayne.
It's almost like a Watchmen-y version of the main DCU.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because you remember, I know you haven't read the book yet, but you saw the movie.
Uh-huh.
Superheroes was outlawed, and then there just weren't any. There was a couple of guys hanging around,
right.
like Dr. Manhattan and the comedian,
Right.
they worked for the government. Well, okay.
Right. And so we
it
have
was
Batman
just
working for the
Superman.
government, and
Yeah.
I said Batman, I meant
Superman.
And so Batman has this plan, and it alludes that he's gonna kind of let himself die in this fight. He puts something in his mouth, and it's a pill of some sort, and he says, "In 1 hour at midnight, a grand death." And so we're, you know, we're gonna lose Batman in this, and Superman lasers into the snow. Just the word "where"
And with the heat vision, I love that. Where, you know,
with a question mark, and it begins. And so
this is Crime Alley.
yeah, that's all he has to say. And Superman, with his super hearing, will hear it, and that's where they'll meet. And so they do. Superman launches, or Batman launches, what was it, 3 or 4 missiles at Superman, kind of weakening him a little bit.
Soften him up.
Yeah.
Remember now, Superman, because the Earth is experiencing kind of an atomic kind of fallout, like the sun's blotted out. It's winter it's summertime, but it's like snowing and cold and everything because of the nuclear attack. And so the sun's kind of been blocked out. Superman is significantly weakened.
Absolutely.
He's not up to the full, like unstoppableness that he had been. Although he's sure charging in like he is.
Yeah. He gets a hold of, I think it's the Batmobile in this series.
Yeah.
Rips it open, and there's Robin with her slingshot, ready to take a shot. And Superman says, "Isn't it a school night?"
Yeah.
He takes off, and he finds Batman, and Batman is ready to go. And he starts laying. They start exchanging blows.
Yeah, Batman's got this kind of power suit to kind of help him go toe to toe.
Definitely.
With Superman, you get this wonderful panel where Batman just decks Big Blue, and he's winning.
Oh yeah.
So sweet.
There's something about Superman that, I don't know, you either love him or you hate him, I feel. And no matter how much it kind of annoys me that he has this godlike power.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just love Superman.
I love Superman. But in this story, he's such a tool.
Yeah. Seeing him getting punched down by Batman.
I love that. I love this where it's like, it's time I taught you what it means to be a man, Bruce, or Cal.
Yeah.
Or Clark. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, awesome.
Yeah.
Bam.
At one point, Superman rips the mask / helmet off of Batman, and so now they're fighting face to face.
Yeah.
Closed it. Sorry. We get reintroduced to Oliver Queen, but he's being attacked by police.
Yeah.
And so he has to fight them off, and he has a arrow made especially for Superman.
Yeah.
And he actually launches it with his teeth and his one hand.
Yeah,
which,
right on.
Is great.
And it's an explosive. It's a kryptonite arrow.
Yeah, and so again, without the yellow sun of the earth and the introduction of kryptonite into the scene, Batman's able to
overtake Superman.
Yeah.
You see him kick him in the chin, and there's blood there.
Yeah. And so he gets worked over by Batman, and Batman says, "I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you." And so Batman's on the ground, bloodied, just tore up, and we get this.
Batman or Superman?
I meant Superman. If I said Batman, I meant Superman.
Yeah.
We get this heartbeat line, the typical medical heartbeat.
Yeah, and it's Bruce.
And it's Bruce. And then it flatlines.
Mm-hmm.
So Batman is beaten and bloodied, and Bruce Wayne is dead. And so we flips back to Alfred, and the Bat Cave underneath Wayne Manor blows up, is just completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And seeing this,
Alfred has a stroke and dies.
Alfred has a stroke and dies, which I mean, jeez, I like.
Yeah, this is a whole big thing.
And so the next two panels are Bruce Wayne laying bloody and dead, with Superman completely just tore up, screaming at police, "Don't touch him." The next panel is the funeral of Bruce Wayne, and
Catwoman confronts Clark and
Yeah.
like, you bastard, basically.
yeah. We have the news that says the president says the state has been stabilized. It's in a state of stabilized emergency, so it's not chaos anymore, but it's still dangerous. Batman talks about Batman's death and the heart attack he suffered, and the identity of Bruce Wayne is revealed to the public. The manor is gone, and his fortune is just
where'd it go?
Yeah.
But
Superman is at the funeral as Clark Kent, and people are questioning, why is he here? And as everyone's leaving, we see the Heartline again.
That what Bruce had taken was something that was going to simulate death.
Exactly. And so we have a lone mourner.
We get a little smile and a wink.
Yeah.
From Superman.
From Superman, who obviously hears the dump of the heartbeat. And the last page we have...
Back to the Batcave.
Back to the Batcave.
It's Wayne training Robin and the former mutants and the sons of the Batman.
And we have Ollie Queen there.
Of course.
To
carry on, to soldier on.
As the sons of the Batman.
Yeah. And that's the end of the Dark Knight Returns. What do you think, Spencer?
Oh my gosh, excellent story.
This is another one of those mandatory books.
Yeah.
This is one of those ones like...
definitely read it. We are open to giving spoilers on this show.
In comics, come on, so much you already know.
Yeah,
it's already just go for it, read it.
I wish there was a way we can do these Elseworld books without giving spoilers, but
or just any of these trades, but
yeah. I was thoroughly surprised by the re-heartbeat of Bruce Wayne. I didn't see that coming. I really didn't.
You really thought he was dead? That's great.
I thought he was dead. And so oh my gosh, And
the thing about the comics is you can know the spoilers and you can still just get a great read. This is how literature works. Yeah. Everybody knows the endings to all these classic books, and yet people still go read them.
Right. So. It's a credit to the authors of these comics.
Good job, Frank Miller.
Yeah, definitely. That even though something can be ruined, like when we did the Death of Supergirl.
From Crisis,
and that was ruined for me. But I mean, it didn't take away from what it meant.
It was spoiled. You knew,
yeah.
But it didn't take it away with the impact when you read it. You're like, oh man,
exactly,
because it was so good.
Exactly. Definitely go out. The trade is The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Go get it. Read it from your local library or...
pay some actual American dollar.
Yeah, definitely.
At your local comic book store.
Yeah. Is there... I mean, we're ways into our cast now, but...
Yeah, dude. Is there anything else on your mind for today, Spencer? Or do you?
I started reading the Amazing Spider-Man. We've been really DC heavy the last.
I know. So we're good. I swear the next couple of trades are going to be Marvel. We're going to talk Marvel. We've yeah.
I'm in the midst of reading the Amazing Spider-Man, the Death of Gwen Stacy.
Classic. Very pivotal and very appropriate as that motion picture coming forth.
Definitely.
saying hi to Gwen in the movies, saying goodbye in the comics.
Right.
So, hi Gwen.
We have the struggle between Spider-Man, his identity, and the Green Goblin.
Oh yes.
But I feel, as far as it goes for where I'm at in the story, it kind of takes a back seat to the big PSA of "Don't do drugs, kids."
Yeah, the drug story, and this was a when that book hit. Actually, it was like the first since the inception of the Comics Code Authority. That Marvel put that out, and it did not get that seal on the book because drugs were a forbidden topic.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I mean this kind of changed that because then I think later that year or around the same time you also got DC doing their the Green Lantern Green Arrow where Green Arrow discovers that Speedy, his ward, is a junkie.
Yeah.
So it was the early '70s, and that's. That was an important change.
Yeah.
I guess it was like, no, this is an issue that's affecting kids, and this needs to be addressed.
Yeah, definitely. And what a great medium to reach kids, through things that they're already reading.
Yeah, and comic books unfortunately get the tag of like being kid stuff.
Yeah.
And it's look, they are wonderful for kids, but this is literature for people, for adults.
Yeah.
In a fantasy, kind of thing. It's like, someone once said, maybe Dickens would have written in comic books if he'd been alive in the 20th century.
I'm not gonna. If I have kids, I'm not gonna let them start off with this Dark Knight Returns book. It just seems a bit.
I mean,
heavy for them.
There are comics that are definitely intended for more mature readership, but in general, comic books is like, what? Give kids a little more credit for one.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get on my little soapbox. It's like people who shelter the children are like the biggest fools because they're like, oh, my child, like. It is your role as a parent to prepare them for the world, not hide them from it.
Right.
You do them the greatest disservice by doing that. You meet sheltered kids and they go into life unarmed, unprepared because they've had the world hidden from them.
Yeah.
And there's beauty and ugliness everywhere, and it's be a parent, man and woman up, and be active in their lives. Know what they're reading, but don't hide things.
Right.
And don't say that's no. Actually have a conversation.
Yeah. And
don't forbid things.
This comic is a good, starting point. Hey, kid, read this.
Yeah.
Well, what was the issue here? They might say Green Goblin, but what do you feel about the drug scene there?
Well, yeah. Harry is like wrestling with all this stuff. It's like, Harry Osborn is kind of a thing. Okay, the mother dead, I guess, and he always had everything handed to him by his dad, but things replaced love.
Right.
And I think he struggled with drugs because he never had to earn anything, and what he was really trying hard to was win his father's love, and he couldn't.
Right.
Not in a way that.
Yeah.
That in the way that he needed. So it's like Norman Osborn failed as a father, and and Harry is weak, and there's a lot of things.
Unprepared for the real world, like you just mentioned, and
unprepared to be able to cope with things in life. He's like getting rejected by, getting the
Jane,
brush off from Mary Jane, who she'd been going with Harry, but she's getting interested in Peter.
Right.
And whereas Harry's self-medicating, he can't deal. And so he's doing this, and it's destructive, and
definitely.
I think we'll get more into that that whole storyline, and where Gwen comes, and the Goblin, of course, play heavily into that. We'll get more into that, I guess, next time. You got anything else there, Spencer?
I don't. Just remember our YouTube channel and send us your emails. We would love to hear from you.
All right. Thanks. This has been Comic Reflections. We'll see y'all again soon.